This is Randy Altman's Perspective.
Randi Altman has been writing about our industry for more than 20 years. In fact, she's the editor-in-chief of her own website at postperspective.com. Hello, Randi. Welcome back.
Hi, Larry. How are you?
It's about a week until Christmas. The excitement around here is just palpable, and I can imagine it's even more crazy at your place. So before we get hung up on the holidays, what's been happening this week?
Well, earlier in the week, I was having some fun watching social media sort of blow up about this whole, and I'm sure you're aware of it, this whole Beats by Dre, which is owned by Apple, how they had this help wanted ad for a non-Final Cut Pro editor. They wanted some Avid editors. So I had a really good time reading all the comments on all the different social media platforms. And what I've discovered is it's like editing wars. It's like crazy. People they latch on to a particular editing system and they hold on tight. And there are others who are just like, you know what, whatever works for the job. No one ever commented, oh, that was edited in a great way on that system, in the theater or watching on their TV screen. So it's been very interesting. And then a couple of Final Cut Pro editors were like, good, more work for me. You guys do what you got to do and I'll take those jobs. So it's been pretty interesting. And I think it goes throughout the industry in terms of even the professional editors, because I've read some interviews with Kurt Baxter, who admittedly is not overly technical when it comes to his editing system. He relies on his assistant editors, and he gets creative, and that's what he likes. So he's not necessarily platform agnostic, but he's willing to work on what works for him.
I did some homework on that Beats situation. Beats is a separate company from Apple. It's not part of Apple HQ, so they're totally independent. Apple HQ still is full Final Cut 10, but Beats, because it's a separate entity, it'd be as though you were deciding to enter with Premiere or Avid or Final Cut. It affects what you and your company do, but it doesn't affect what Apple does. Also, if you look at the headline, that was definitely written to generate clicks. So it blew up. I got a lot of emails about that one myself. Yeah, what else have you been seeing going on this week, just before everything shuts down for the holidays?
Well, Red introduced a new camera. They've been spitting them out pretty good, haven't they? So it's the Scarlett W, and it's part of their Dragon line. So that's new. And then just getting back to the editing thing for a second, I heard today that Bandito Brothers, so Jacob Rosenberg and those guys, they actually purchased some Avid gear. And they're talking about using media composers as well. So a company that had been historically Adobe-based platform is opening itself up to more. So they're sort of using Avid and Adobe products as well. So I think that's how the world is going. I think that you're going to be using multiple.
Well, one of the interesting things you said that I've felt for a long time is that all too often we define ourselves in terms of our editing tools as opposed to what we create with those tools. We define ourselves as a Premiere editor, an Avid editor, or a Final Cut editor, which is why these flame wars exist, because they challenge our existence. We're a Final Cut or an Avid person. Whereas I think a lot of editors need to define themselves as storytellers. And as you were pointing out, what tool do we need to use to tell the story that needs to be told? And that's something that I don't think the industry is ready to shift over to yet. We still want to be hung up on the technology and define ourselves in terms of the technology, not in terms of the results. What do you think?
I think part of that is true. I do see more people, though, willing to embrace other types of technology and sort of lose the whole technical aspect and just dive into the creative, at least some of the people that I've been talking to. So hopefully that will be a trend for the upcoming year.
Well, thinking of the upcoming year, I know that you've got plenty of stuff to do because your newsletter is about to publish, and I don't want to interfere with that. But I want to bring you back Christmas Eve and take a look at what trends you've spotted for 2015 to sort of look back at the year and give us a high perspective of what you noticed. Can we invite you back then?
Sure, I'd like that. Thanks.
We'll talk to you next week. Randi Altman is the editor-in-chief of postperspective.com, and you can visit her website at any time for some of the finest interviews in the industry. Randi, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Larry.
To read more from Randi Altman, visit postperspective.com.